Oh my God.
Tonight on Q2, dangers on the ice.
A freak accident in youth hockey that nearly took the life of a Wyoming boy, now putting a spotlight on safety.
You know, you always hear those kinds of stories and it kind of takes your breath away.
Plus, a truly super picker-upper.
It's in my blood. I mean, even when my wife and I go traveling in our camper, we'll pull off at rest stops and that, and I'll get my bag and pick her out.
A retired veteran is now giving back by doing some dirty work.
And definitely not a foul.
It was just such a cool moment to not only be so excited to have my first state tournament, but then to know that my dad got it as well.
A Billings father and daughter recently make history on the state basketball court.
The MTN 530 news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm Andrea Lutz.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. First tonight, an 11-year-old Wyoming boy lucky to be alive after being slashed across the neck by an ice skate.
Well, that incident likely could have killed him if it weren't for that neck brace required by the league.
Our Charlie Kleps looks more at the precautions in place here in Montana to prevent similar injuries.
There's always risks for hockey players when they step onto the ice. But following the tragic death of NHL player Adam Johnson, changes were made heading into this hockey season, and they're already making an impact both here in Montana, in Wyoming, and across the country.
Oh no, oh no.
This is the moment it happened.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. It was so quick.
Though it's hard to see, the chaos that followed isn't.
Oh my God, somebody call 911.
That buzzer alerting the crowd as both teams cleared the ice, putting this under-12 hockey game between Casper and Park City on a bone-chilling hold.
I saw him go to the ground, and he was on his knees, and he went like this.
For mother Lauren Lyon, it was her worst nightmare coming true.
It's emotional now because thinking back on it, how terrifying it was, but during the actual event, I wasn't feeling anything. I just kind of kicked into survival mode.
And it truly was a life or death moment as her 11-year-old son Carter got struck by a skate during the game, slicing his neck wide open.
I kind of just got in his face. I said, "You're okay, you're okay." And I grabbed his hand, and his hand had his blood on it, so that was awful.
Carter was raced to the hospital where he would receive stitches for the 7-inch long laceration, with one name being whispered through the crowd.
None of us knew how bad it was. We had no idea, but all of us were thinking of Adam Johnson.
Adam Johnson was a former NHL player who died in 2023 when a skate sliced his neck during a collision while playing a game in England. His death rocked the hockey world. Fortunately, Carter was wearing this, though that hasn't always been the case.
I remember back in my day, playing as a youth, neck guards were optional, and most guys didn't bother with them.
Sean Gilmore, the director of the Billings Bulls Youth Hockey Club, says even just a year ago, most hockey players didn't wear neck guards. Following Johnson's death, nearly every league outside of the NHL mandates them.
And I'm grateful that it's really there now because it is about safety.
A change made just in the nick of time for this family. Grateful that this story didn't end differently.
If I dive further into how bad this could be, I don't think I could really find words for it.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Tonight, a Billings family is speaking out about motorcycle safety after their loved one ended up in the hospital yesterday with serious injuries.
That crash, which happened on King Avenue West, a cruel reminder of the dangers as we head into the spring. As our Marcus Kakova learns, the victim's wife wants to make sure no others have to live through this terrifying reality.
As temperatures begin to rise and seasons change, it'll mean more motorcyclists on the road.
My two truest loves, my husband and riding a motorcycle.
42 years old, David LaFlame's future is uncertain tonight.
I just know that he went down and hit something hard enough to break his neck.
His wife, Mandy LaFlame, says David's headed to an MRI following his motorcycle crash on Sunday on the 2800 block of King Avenue West. She says David has C1 and C2 breaks, lower back fractures, an open fracture to the wrist, and broken ribs.
He'd stopped. I just contributed it to traffic. And then I saw an ambulance come this way, and I told my daughter, I said, "David's down there."
Despite motorcycles only making up 3% of registered vehicles, they constituted nearly 15% of fatalities in accidents in 2022. A statistic, Mandy says, is beatable.
Wear your helmets, because had he not worn his helmet, he would have been dead. I'd trade him spots if I could.
Marcus Kakova, MTN News.
Tonight, new details surrounding the arrest of 3 illegal aliens at the northern border near Havre. Those illegal immigrants are identified as Venezuelan gang members arrested earlier this month. The gang members are from a criminal organization known for its narco-terrorism. The smuggler is a U.S. citizen, and she will be charged with bringing in and harboring aliens.
Here we go with water vapor imagery. This shows you the moisture that's in the atmosphere. So you can see it streaming up and over across Montana, but much drier as we look into the desert southwest, the Four Corners region. And that will start to nudge in with a high pressure ridge as we get from tonight heading into tomorrow. In the short term, we've got rain showers, especially from Billings off towards the east. Just these streaks of showers producing some snow down into the Bighorns. A little bit for you in the Beartooths as well. But the shift in the weather pattern will continue to build in through the overnight. So the periods of wind, rain, and snow already starting to taper off. Our wind advisory and high wind warning have already expired here this evening. We could be looking at some warmer, drier conditions Wednesday. Thursday will probably be the warmest day, not only that we've seen so far this year, but could set some records for the date. And we'll have some more unsettled weather that's going to come in right behind that, meaning more wind, rain, and snow. We'll have all the details coming up in a few minutes.
It seems Montana's first responders are struggling to get to crash scenes on the interstate because they can't find those median crossovers when it's dark at night. So there's a solution on the way, a fairly easy fix: more signage in the form of blue delineators. Well, the new signs are designed to show where those emergency turnarounds are located on the interstate as much as by 500 feet away. The delineators will potentially save extra miles of travel when time is so crucial. Democrat Scott Demarios of Anaconda says his experience as a firefighter came in handy for the idea, making changes without new legislation or financial investments.
This is going to make a huge difference. They have to think more about the patient, more about the crash, more about their own safety and the safety of the traveling public, instead of thinking about where to turn, which is exciting. Those simple things, the simple wins in the end, but those simple fixes make a big difference.
So far, MDT has installed several of the blue posts across the state. It's a little unclear, though, exactly how many so far.
Our Super Senior segment recognizes seniors who are making a difference in their community or just doing some cool things for their age. Tonight, I want to introduce you to Mac McPherson. He's a retired veteran who gives back by doing some dirty work.
Just so filthy sometimes.
It was during his career in the military that Mac McPherson picked up what even he admits is a dirty habit.
Well, there's some more up here. Yeah, people can't believe that we got this much trash out here. Beautiful scenery, and then you look on the ground, you got all this litter all over the place. You know, and it's just, I just felt I had to do it.
Eyes peeled, scouring for any bit of litter or other trash. Mac is doing his best to keep this 2-mile stretch on I-90 near Zoo Drive that he's adopted clean.
Oh yeah, it's in my blood. I mean, even when my wife and I go traveling in our camper, we'll pull off at rest stops and that, and I'll get my bag and pick her out and go clean up a little bit.
A habit that seems to follow him wherever he travels.
This was in Spain. That's when I collected. One day when I collected.
This is Mac picking up trash in Iceland. And when he lived in Alaska, he and some of his fellow veterans picked up nearly 100,000 pounds of trash and garbage.
Man, you name it, I found it. You know, the only thing I haven't found in my 10 years is a body. You know, and some people tell me, well, you haven't gone off the road far enough.
And since moving to Montana a few years ago, he's picked right up where he left off.
This is what I did last year. Some of the money I found, some of it's Hollywood. It's not real. But this was last year's, and I actually finished with 5,600 pounds.
A guy with a dirty habit, helping keep Montana clean.
But it's a habit of mine, you know. Like I said, it's a dirty habit, but I do it. Now that's fresh.
And remember, if you'd like to nominate someone for this segment, you can do so by clicking on the Super Seniors tab. It's right there at the top of our website, ktvq.com.
More than 50 of the best spellers in Montana met at Montana State University in Bozeman this weekend for the State Spelling Bee. Fifth grader Ruby Wang from St. Joseph Elementary in Missoula took home the title of Best Speller in the state this year. Strong spelling skills run in her family, with her sister Cheyenne winning it last year. Ruby will represent Montana at the Scripps National Spelling Bee in Maryland in May. 2025 marks the 100th anniversary of the event.